Muisca gods and goddesses. The Muisca religion practiced by the indigenous Muisca people of Colombia, primarily in the areas of present-day Cundinamarca and Boyacá, was a rich tapestry of beliefs centered around nature, deities, and rituals. Central to their faith were gods like Bocaca, the god of civilization, and Chia, the moon goddess. They believed in a balance between good and evil, often represented by their gods. Rituals and ceremonies played a significant role, with offerings to deities and sacred sites. The Muisca also had a deep connection to their environment, seeing rivers, mountains and lakes as sacred. Chimanagagua. As the supreme god and creator of the universe, Chimanagagua represented the concept of light and was responsible for creating the sun, moon and stars. He was often depicted as a distant and enigmatic deity, with few direct interactions with humans. He is the supreme being, omnipotent and creator of the world. A kind and universal divinity, the only light that existed when everything was night. It is said that at the beginning of the world, everything was in darkness and only the light of Chimanagagua reigned. When the creator god wanted to spread light throughout the universe, he created two large black birds and launched them into space. Some locals claim that when these birds breathed or blew air through their beaks, they spread an incandescent light, with which the entire cosmos was illuminated. Thus light was made and all things in the world were created. In the process of creating everything that exists in the universe, Chimanagagua pointed out the importance of worshipping the sun, or Suha, and his wife and companion Chia, or the moon. For the Muisca, the worship of the sun and the moon was the worship of Chimanagagua, the supreme being. This story tells that the relationship between the belief in Chimanagagua and the worship of the sun existed in other indigenous American peoples. The Chibchas dedicated several temples to the worship of the sun. The most important ones were built in Sogamoso, Guatavita, Bogotá and Guacheta. Chimanagagua was a static god without a corporeal figure who was above all heroes, but who was not worshipped directly like the tutelary and protective gods. This worship was paid to the sun, the god of light and of the fertility of the earth. For this reason, some chroniclers speak of the sun as the Muisca god creator of the universe. And in the same way they spoke of the Spaniards who came to America as children of the sun. Su. The sun god, Su, also known as Shwe or Sua, was one of the most important deities in Muisca or Chibcha culture. He governed over agriculture, fertility, and growth, and was believed to travel across the sky during the day to provide light and warmth. He was married to moon goddess Chia. Su was worshipped in the Temple of the Sun in Sugamuxi, currently known as Sogamoso City of the Sun. Other temples attributed to Su are in Bacana and Guatavita. The original Sun Temple in Sogamoso has been destroyed by torch fires of the Spanish conquerors. Chia, the moon goddess. Chia was the sister and wife of Su, and she governed over nighttime, water, and femininity. She was also associated with crop growth, as the Chibcha people believed that her light helped nurse their crops during the night. Chia and Su, the solar deity, are married, but separated in the sky most of the time, until Chia would join with her husband, creating a lunar eclipse. Chia is the divine goddess who lights up the night and came to earth in the form of a woman to teach mankind the way to achieve happiness and pleasures of life. Chia, or the moon, governs the liquid forces on the planet, controls the tides, makes the sap of trees, controls the processes of ovulation of woman, and therefore controls life and fertilization of the earth. Bocaca, as the cultural hero and civilizing deity, Bocaca taught the Chibcha people the arts of agriculture, craftsmanship, and social organization. He was depicted as an elderly man with a long beard, and he wielded a staff that symbolized his authority. He is revered as a civilizing hero who taught the arts of civilization, including weaving, the moral code and the laws of the community. He is also credited with creating the Tequendama Falls by breaking a mountain with his staff, thus saving the Muisca Valley from a flood. Bocaca was the messenger of Chimanagagua and holy teacher of the Muisca. He was an old bearded man sent from heaven to educate the people in weaving. mantle making, ceramics production and social moral and political values. He settled in Squamox, where the people organized yearly religious festivities. Huitaka, rebelling goddess of sexual liberation. Huitaka was the goddess of happiness, pleasure and sexual liberation who rebelled against Bokika. She used to be a beautiful woman teaching the people a long life full of arts and dances. She encouraged the Chibcha people to indulge in their desires and to pursue pleasure, often leading them astray from their duties and responsibilities. When Bokika found out about her rebellion against his power, he turned Huitaka into a white owl, or alternatively the moon. Bachue, the mother goddess. The ancestor of all the Muisca was Bachue, mother of humankind, who emerged from Lake Iguag with a 3-year-old boy in her arms. When the boy grew up, Bachue married her son and traveled around the Muisca territories. Every time she was pregnant, she bore 4 to 6 children. The Muisca believed all the people could be traced back to Bachue. When her children got old, Bachue returned to Lake Iguag with her son. And after a final speech they turned into 2 giant snakes who submerged in the water, making the site sacred for the Muisca. Chibchacum, the god of rain and thunder. God Chibchacum represented rain and thunder, and protected the traders and the working people in general. He was the patron of Bokata, where the Muisca offered him gold. His revenge upon the people who disobeyed was flooding the Bogota savanna. Bokika stepped in and ordered Chibchacum to carry the earth on his shoulders, like Atlas in ancient Greece. Chibchacum was also the god of the numerous earthquakes in the central Andes. Cuchavira, god of the rainbow. Cuchavira, who was called Shining Air, is the Muisca god of the rainbow, who was born when Bokika created the Tacondama Falls. Rain and sun were both very important for the Muisca's agriculture. When the rain god Chibchacum was angry, he sent heavy rains to the flatlands, causing the rivers to flood, destroying the agriculture and the houses of the Muisca. When the rains were over and the sun was shining again, causing Cuchavira to appear, the people offered gold, marine snails and small emeralds to thank him. Chaquin, the god of sports and fertility. Chaquin was the god of fertility of the earth and sports. He trained the Muisca to prepare them for wars. And the Getcha warriors and farmers honored him to win battles and acquire good harvests. Sexual rituals where the people dressed up in colored feathered costumes were guarded by Chaquin. He was also the creator of the Colombian national sport, Tejo. Ninkatakoa, the god of arts and dance. Ninkatakoa was the Muisca god and protector of artists, painters, builders and drunkenness. The people in the Muisca territories worshipped him in large festivities where they got drunk of chicha. Ninkatakoa was represented by a fox or bear, dressed in gold. He helped the Muisca build their bahayos, carrying the heavy wooden poles for the construction.